Hi, this is Guardian, my Alaskan malamute, 6 months old and a few weeks. And the UK weather is really hot and sticky. And he, as you can see, has got a very thick coat on. It is 8:30 at night and there's hardly any breeze. And it's that sticky, horrible weather we all get. So, how do I manage to keep him calm? He's saying no to me at the minute because they're ice cubes and he doesn't want them. So as I'm giving him it, he's saying, nope, no thank you. No thank you. You don't want no ice cubes? Guardian, do you want ice cube? No, he's not into ice cubes. Don't ask me why. Most dogs are, but he's not. So what I've done is I put a few bottles, I'll show you, in the freezer. Right? A juice bottle will do. And what happens is, can you see that? You wet the towel or the face cloth, or depending on the size of the bottle. I think this is don't know what litre, 1 litre, right? Then I fill it all with water and I put them in the freezer. Then you leave them there. They won't pop. As long as you clean them out, they won't pop, nothing. And you just put them away, put 3 or 4 away, and each time you empty one, clean it out, put it in the freezer, 3 or 4 of them, right? And then when hot weather comes on us like this, right, pure ice, as you can see, just pure ice in a bottle, that's all it is, right? Then you wet the cloth. Do not, repeat, not give it straight to the pup or the dog because it will stick to their tongues. The reason why I say wet it is because the cold can come through, but it won't burn them. Now I repeat, do not take anything straight out the freezer and give it to a child or a dog, because you know them comedy programs where people decide they want to lick something metal or just lick something and it freezes their tongue. Well, it's real, right? So putting it against your skin or anything like that will stick you to the bottle and it's not good, right? So wet the bottle first with a little bit of warm water. I know it defeats the situation, but that will take away the edge, and then cover it with a cold, wet cloth. Right? That way it will not only protect the dog, but it will protect you as well from getting freezer burns. And as you can see, it doesn't stick and it's nice and cold, but it's bearable. Now, second thing, to make sure, because you've got a puppy, right, make sure the pup doesn't run off with it, chew it, break the plastic. Obviously, safety things. If you're not sure, talk to your vet. So then, if your hand can stay on it comfortably without it burning, aching, causing you to go oof or anything like that, then it'll be safe for the pup to lick, play with, cuddle. Now, if you've got a puppy, you know a hot water bottle, right? You know the covers, put it in that and then tighten it so the pup will get all the cold but won't like rip through this, because this is only cloth. Now I know my pup's is a service dog, so I know he won't rip through this, right? But some pups would, because they've got sharp teeth. So my suggestion would be a cover, socks, anything like that, but it has to be really thick, really, really thick, right? And then, as you can see, the dog cools from the mouth and the feet. So your hands are nice and cold, right? So you put your feet on it, your puppy put his feet on it. But if you make your hands nice and cold, and because it's wet, things wet, it won't dry, and it will stay wet, and then you just keep cooling your hands, and then hold your pup underneath, right, his belly, where the bear part is. Because you're cold, you keep him cool. And then also on his feet, hold his feet. Just hold his feet for a couple of minutes, then let go, because you don't want to overheat. So as soon as your hand starts to feel the warmth, come back on. Do that. Another thing is, good suggestion for people as well who sweat a lot, put your feet on it. Because it'll also cool you down. Believe it or not, it will. Because if your feet are warm, you're warm. If your feet are cold, you're cold. Doesn't matter about the weather, that's the way it works. Right? So you see people with cold feet, and you'll see them. This is why the older generation wear coats and they can't feel the heat, because the feet's always cold because of the circulation, you see. So that's what I would do. And then just let the pup play with it. Again, make sure this is clean and it's not got nothing on it, toxins or anything. Buy a new one. Would be better. It's only a couple of pounds. Buy a new one, you know. But hot water bottle cover, and even, actually, come to think of it, buy, you know them bottle covers that you put bottle covers on? Put a bottle cover on and it will cover it as well. That's another good thing, because what you don't want to do is watch what happens. See that? See, it's like Velcro, it's sticking. Now you imagine your pup, if you've got to make sure it is fully covered at all times, because even if you think, oh, it's warmed up, it hasn't. The bottle is still very, very, very dangerously can trap skin, tongues, stuff like that. So until it goes to full water or 90% water, do not let them get to the bottle. Pups, adult dogs, kids, adults, don't get to that bottle until it's gone down. Once it's gone to water, flush it out, right? Put new water in, put it back in the freezer. That's if you're going out. Because like I said, sometimes you have emergencies, and although you're making it dark, you big hefty oaf. You big hefty oaf. You're making it dark. Yes. Right? So, like I said, make sure it's covered, and make sure the covered bit is covered. Do not put string or anything like that for the puppies to choke on, or even the adult dogs to accidentally choke on. Nothing that can make them choke, okay? This is for their health and benefit, not for their death. So, once you've done that, and then you can either clean it out, put fresh water in, cold water, put it in the freezer. Now, this is versatile, because not only have you got ice water, but if you have to do an emergency, and believe me, if you're working, or if you're not well, or your kids aren't well, or your family's not well and you get called out, the dogs have to travel in that kind of heat. Reason why I say get this type of bottle is, dogs' beddings and their cages and stuff like that, and also your car, right? This would fit perfect in the corners of their bedding, which will keep the beds cool. But it's also would be like, you could do a blanket and sew the blanket up, and then make room so you could slide these in every few. So if you make a blanket and you fold it like about the same inch, so you fold it over like this, you'd be able to slip that straight into the blankets all around. So it acts like a dog bed, and then when the pup sits and it falls asleep, it'll fall asleep on the blanket, but it'll keep it cold. So therefore, it'll be nice and cold wherever your dog is. So say you put your dog in the car and he's in the boot, right? You say you put one of them blankets, right? So here's one of them blankets. So if you sew about that much, right? You can then slip it in to every, so sew it and then corner it off. So 1, 2 to every bottle, and then put the bottle inside, slip it in. Obviously it has to be fully sewn so the pup can't burn himself or rip it open. And then what you do is you slip the bottle in like that, you slip it in, right, into the cover itself. Then slip the bottle in, and then what you've got there is a perfect round of his bed. Nice and cool. Look, he's got his foot on it now. And he's nice and cold. He's not hot at all. And he's actually calmed down a lot because he was struggling earlier before I got this out. And now he's calm and cool. And the thing is, the pup will snuggle into it to fall asleep. So even if outside's really hot, the environment around him will be nice and cool because he's got this all the way around, or she's got this all the way around. Do you know what I mean? So here's mine and Guardian's tip for the day. Put these in the freezer. They stay forever in the freezer. Yeah, keep them frozen. If you need to take them out in an emergency or anything like that, because it's hot, by the time you go wherever you need to go, you've got fresh cold water for you and the pup, if need be. You've also got a cooling device all the way around, and it's cheap and easy and cheerful. And you're using what you've discarded. See, look, he's happily put his paw on there. Now, see, most pups, he's only 6 months old, but most pups do that, don't they? Most pups would... Oh, okay, fair enough. We're not playing that game. Oh, you're listening to me? Right. So, when I'm not playing, he plays try and get. A bit like, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? But he goes, try and get it. Look, see? He's trying to get me to do it again. No, I'm not playing a game with you. We're doing a YouTube video. So, remember, perfect. Okay, fair enough. Perfect for everything. When the dog... Now you've made me lose my thought. Right, so now look at him. He's cuddling it like a blanket. Look, he's cuddling it. But what he's doing is he's keeping it close to his paws, which is then animating because the cold's right up here. If you feel the cold, it's quite far. So he's feeling it under his chin. He's panting, and now he's seen a fly. He's panting, and this part here is keeping him nice and cool. And this is what I'm saying. If there's a blanket over it, imagine this is the blanket, and you've got them every few and all the way around the pup. The pup's surrounded by cool air as well. So when he's panting in the cool air. But remember, okay, safety first. That's the main thing. We don't want our dogs poorly, and we don't want them injured. Right? So make sure it's tight in that blanket that they can't get to it. And the funny thing is, in an emergency, best plan ever. Look how comfortable he is. He's got his head on it. He's chilled out. He can sleep. And you know as well as I do, some British nights are so sticky and hot. The good thing is, if you put your pup on your bed and you put your feet on the blanket, it won't be too cold, but it'll be enough to cool your feet down, enough to cool you down, and you go to sleep. So then you and your pup get the best night's sleep. And that's our tip for today from me and Guardian. Hope you enjoyed our little thing. Subscribe. Leave a message for Guardian if you would like to. I'm sure I can give you it, can't I, Guardian? Yeah. And hope this helps. Keep your dogs cool. Please be safe. Be sensible and be smart. And don't allow your dogs out in this heat without safety precautions. Thanks for listening.